अवतार के गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाए। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाए। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल विष्णु विष्णुपाद अष्टोत्तर शत शिशुमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गौरक्षर बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल विश्व श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्याल विश्व वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज जय। श्री रूपानुगुर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जी गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट व्रत गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. Okay, we'll do Mangala Charan and then see who has joined us. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidito Kodiya Gurvanvaye Bhato Bhanuriva Prabhata Gagane Yogora Sankirtanai Maya Varati Mingilo Daragatan Udrita Jivaniman Krishna Prema Sudabdi Gahana Sukham Pradat Prabhung Tang Bhaje Vande Bhakti Vinodam Shri Gaur Shakti Sarupakam Bhakti Shastragya Samrajam Radha Rasa Sudha Nidhim Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaur Shakti Sarupaya Rupanugavarayate Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya. Sorry guys. Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Vrishabhanusutanvitavamatanu Yamuna Tatanagaranandasutam Murali Kalagita Vinodaparam Pajagodrumakananakunjavidum Smaragoragadadarakaling Pavagoragadadarapakshachara Shinugoragadadaracharukatang Pajagodrumakananakunjavidum Tavaivasmi, Tavaivasmi. Tavaivasmi, Tavaivasmi, na jivami tvaya vina. Iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai. Kshiptastakama aditaranga madhe. Kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna. Vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Prabhur Shikshashtak Shlok Jai Pore Shune Krishne Prem Bhakti Tar Bare Dine Dine. Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranams Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji and Champak Mataji, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook. One second. Okay, nobody wrote any comments yet, but pranams to all of those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook. I'm just guessing the regular people join Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, Krishna Mai Didi, Vidyalala Didi. Did I already mention Ganga Mataji and everybody else? And also devotees watching in the future like Shachi Devi, Krishna Rose, Manjari Didi, Jai Dev Prabhu, and everybody else. Dandavat pranams. Haribol. So, yeah, as you can probably tell in my Jayadvanya Mangalacharana, I had to pause to yawn a few times. I am insanely tired right now. So I arrived in Vrindavan late last night. I went to sleep. Well, I laid down at 12:30 a.m. and then I started getting bit by mosquitoes. And so yeah, I got up at 2, so it was like 1.5 hours of sleep. Then I tried sleeping again, and then I got up again at 3, and then again at before Mangalarti, and then I don't know. I could have come to the office. My brain wasn't functioning. And anyways, after Mangalarti, I took a bath and slept a little bit, like maybe an hour or something like that. But I'm super sleep deprived right now. My brain can't think right now, like even the simplest things. And so I was kind of, I was thinking, oh, I can't think right now. I can't explain anything. And I tried to find something. I was thinking maybe we could read about Goridas Pandit and Govindadas, um, whose disappearance days it will be on Rupa Goswami's disappearance day, and we probably wouldn't get time to read about them. But that's in like 3 days from now. And I don't know. I decided just to read Bhajana-rahasya. But today is going to be a bit different than our other readings. I'm not going to try to explain anything because I don't want to make a fool of myself. So I'm just going to, yeah, it's going to be very simple. We'll just read. Um, this microphone is so heavy. I think let's see, I'm gonna lean it. That's better. Okay, is it plugged in? Okay, it is. All right, so let's begin. I just need to open up the file 1 second. And let's see. Okay, I see there's only 3 devotees there on YouTube and Facebook. If you write a comment, I'll see who you are. Okay. Oh, 1 second. Need to. Yeah, and I didn't sleep on the train either because I'm trying not to sleep in the day. And the previous night on the train was also not so good. What am I looking for? Bhajana-rahasya. That's what we're reading. That's so good. Yeah, sorry, today's going to be an interesting reading. Where's part 2? That's so weird. I can't find the file. Bhajana-rahasya. There it is. Okay, let's begin. Guess we read up to verse 29 last time? No, we didn't read that far. Anyhow, let's just start from the beginning. Okay, so chapter 2 of Bhajana-rahasya, Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. This is Prata Kaliya Bhajana, the early morning bhajan. This is represents anartha nivritti in sadhu sangha. So this is from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. So there's no consideration of proper or improper in regard to chanting the Lord's names, which are fully endowed with all potency. This is described in the second verse of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka. So, O Lord, you have made, Akadi means you have made, or you have manifested, Bahuta Namnam, your many, many, innumerable names. And Tatra, there in those names, Arpita, you have placed, you have infused those names with Nija Sarva Shaktis, with all of your own potencies, your own Shaktis. And Smarane, and remembering those names, there's na niyamita, there's no restrictions, no rules regarding the time. They can be chanted at any time, in any condition, any state. Etadrishi tava kripa, etadrishi, such tava is your kripa. Such is your mercy, O Bhagavan. But my durdaivam, my misfortune, idrisham, is such that here, iha, in these names, ajani nanuraga, na anurag, no spontaneous deep attachment for these names. Ajani has awakened within me. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he explains the 4 different parts of the verse. First explaining how Krishna has many names with this verse from Krishna Namashtaka. Agadamana, 8 names here. And here, Anek Sarupe Tvai Mama Ratir Uchai Vardatam Namadeya. May my rati for these names always increase. Your many swarups. Okay. Then he gives a verse explaining how Krishna has invested all potencies in his name. This is from the Skanda Puran. And then he gives a verse explaining how there's no consideration of cleanliness, uncleanliness, the proper time, all that. Na niyamita smarane nakala. And then he explains what is this misfortune. Because Shikshashak, Durdaiva Mama, sorry, what is it? Mama api Durdaivam idrisham. My misfortune is such. And so what is that misfortune? Well, it's that we've got I have those whose senses are turned away, vimuk, those whose indriya are vimuk. They're turned away from bhavata prasangat. From prasangat means descriptions, narrations about bhavata, about which destroy upashamad,
Upashamanat, that means it destroys sarva, all ashubha, all inauspiciousness. But those whose senses are turned away from those narrations about you, bhavata prasangat, their intelligence, their dhiya, is stolen away, is hata, stolen away or destroyed by daivena, that means by fate. Te means they. And kurvanti, they engage in akushilani, in inauspicious acts, shashvat, perpetually, always. They're constantly engaging in inauspicious acts, those dina, those fallen miscreants. Why do they engage in those acts? For alesh alava. Alesh means a fraction of a lava, of a particle of kamsuk, of sensual pleasure. Because their manasa, their hearts, are abhibhuta, are overcome by lobh, by greed. So there couldn't be any greater misfortune than that. When you get the topmost thing, you get narrations of Krishna which destroy all inauspiciousness, and you don't take it seriously. Your senses, you don't hear it, you don't want to see it, none of your senses are all turned away from it. And instead of focusing on that kata, just for the tiniest, a fraction of an atomic particle of sense pleasure, we engage in all these inauspicious acts. That's misfortune. When you have the topmost thing right there in your hands. And Krishna made it so easy for us, but still we can't. We turn away from it. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur turns this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam into a personal prayer. Very beautiful prayer. And then now is the segue on Haribo Raseshwari Mataji. And so now is a personal, So then he gives this verse. This is like a segue. Vyasadeva, through Bhakti Yoga, through Bhakti Yoga, he fixes his mind's pranihite, he fixes his manasi samyak completely, and he makes his mind pure, all through Bhakti Yoga. And when he does that, then apashat, then he sees the Purusham Purnam, the absolute truth, the supreme absolute person. Cha, and he also sees Maya, who is sheltered by that supreme person, tad apashrayam. And he also sees the jivas, who are some mohito yaya, who are bewildered by yaya, by her, by that Maya. How are they bewildered? Well, they manute, they consider Atmanam themselves to be products of the Tri Gunatmakam, to be products of the three modes of material nature, products of matter. Para opi, even though they are beyond this. And so this is their anartha. And they engage in various activities, tat kritam, based on that anartha, that misfortune of misidentifying themselves who are far superior to Maya, but still they think that they're products of this mundane, inert matter. So the way to destroy this anartha, this misfortune of this misidentification, anartha upashamam, that's that same word, upashamam, is by shakshat bhakti yogam adhoksaje, by engaging in shakshat, direct bhakti yoga to adhokshaj, that's transcendental Vishnu. But lokasya, of the people, this is ajanato, it's unknown. So Vidvansh, so the wise, the very learned Vyasadeva, he compiled this Sattvata Samhita Srimad Bhagavatam. And through the Srimad Bhagavatam, we can destroy all anarthas. We can become established in our real situation, understanding our real sambandha with Krishna and act upon that. It's all through the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we got everything we need. Now we know, we identified what is, generally, we've identified what is our misfortune. Now we see how we got that misfortune, how we came into this situation through Maya, and the way to get out, the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so now, what's next? So then let's identify the anarthas more clearly. So we see that anarthas are 4 types: Swarup, Brahm, Asat Trishna, Aparad, and Hriday Daurbalya. And those 4 kinds of anarthas are further divided into 4. So there's 16 altogether. And we already went through this quite a few times. And then now what are the main ways to destroy these anarthas? Well, it gives this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, from 14th verse from the beginning, about how all anarthas are nullified by Nam Sankirtan. And what is there to be afraid of in this material world? There's nothing worthy of being afraid of, because the possessor of this name is feared by fear personified. Even fear personified fears the possessor of this name, and now we have that name with us. So we've fallen into this apana, we've fallen into this sangsaritam ghoram, this ghastly ghoram, this ghastly sangsar. But those who chant Grinan, they take this name, Vivasha, feeling completely hopeless, having no other shelter, they helplessly take this name, then tata, thereafter they sadhyo, they immediately vimuchita, they become liberated by that name, which is feared by fear personified. So if we have this name, why do we still fear? If even fear personified is afraid of the possessor of this name, and we have this name, so what is there to be afraid about? Why are we afraid? Well, bhayam dvitīya-yāma-sādhana. Fear, this bhaya, arises, syad. It arises when we become abhiniveshita, when we become absorbed in that which is dvitiya, which is separate from Krishna. The second, Dvitiya means second. So another thing other than Krishna. And of those who have turned away, apitasa, they've turned away from Ishad, from the Lord. Their intelligence, they forget. Having turned away from the Lord, they completely forget the Lord. And they just get this backwards intelligence, this backwards thinking, completely forgetful. Why? Tanmaya yato, because of Maya, due to Maya. So, but those who are Buddha, those who are intelligent, abhajetam, they will worship him. Bhaktya, through bhakti, through bhaktaika, that means aika means exclusive bhakti, one pointed devotion to Isha, to the Lord. And taking Guru to be one's worshipable deity, one's devata, one's worshipable Lord, and Atma, their very self, so close, the most close, intimate person to themselves. So this verse culminates in taking shelter of Sri Guru and how to see Sri Guru. So we have Nam Sankirtan, taking shelter of Sri Guru, and now this next verse is Bhakti Yoga. Nam Kirtan, taking shelter of Guru, and Bhakti Yoga. And through this Bhakti Yoga, and by engaging in Shraddha, so engaging from the very beginning of this Bhakti Yoga, then with this Jnana and Vairagya, automatically, very quickly is produced, this Jnana and Vairagya. There's no need to endeavor separately for knowledge and for renunciation. These things are just automatic byproducts that come very quickly. Janayati ashu means they are produced ashu very quickly. Ahaitukam, without any other cause. Only through bhakti. Okay. And now this next verse, text 15 in Bhajana-rahasya, which is from Srimad Bhagavatam 2:936. This is now the introduction to this next section, which will explain all the very detailed methods of all the things that we should do, all the favorable things, and then all the unfavorable things, all the bad things that we shouldn't do, all the things that we should give up, that the prohibited things. And so this verse is a bit more of a philosophical verse, but then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his Bengali verse, he makes it really practical. so the one who is inquisitive to know the nature of the self, Atma Tattva, he inquires through direct, anvaya, and indirect, vyatirek, means of deliberation about that object, which is fully eternal. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that the method of anvaya, of the direct, which is directly linked to Bhagavan, which is directly connected to him, which is favorable, anukul. And then there's the method of vyatirek, which is indirect. It's not connected to Bhagavan. It is unfavorable. So the anvaya method is following the instructions regarding bhajan vishaya. And the vyatirek method is not doing the things that are prohibited. So it's the do's and don'ts. Anvaya is the do's, vyatirek is the don'ts. And now all the next verses are anvaya and vyatirek, the do's and don'ts. So we went through this first verse of Upadeshamrita. These are don'ts. Those who control their urges of speech, of vacha, of the manasa, of the mind, of krodha, of anger, of the jiva, of the tongue, of the udar, of the belly, and the upasta, of the genitals. So all these different urges, etan vegan, all these urges, these 6 urges, that person who, vishaheta, who can tolerate, that sober, dhira, that sober person who can tolerate these urges, sarvam apimam prithavim shashishyat. The entire sarvam prithavim, the entire world can become disciples of that person, imam. Now, imam means these, doesn't it? Sa means that person? I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. Yeah. So that person can instruct the entire world. Everybody can take shelter of that person in this universe, in this world. And then, so that's the first don't. Then the next vyatirek thing, the next don't thing is atyahara prayasascha prajalpa niyamagara, the second verse of Upadeshamrita. Jana shangas cholalyamcha sharbir bhakti. Bhakti is vinashati, is destroyed by sharbhi, by these 6 things. Atyahara, that means too much food, collecting too much through any of the senses. So that means food for any of the senses, collecting too much through your sight, watching movies, collecting too much through your ears, listening to music and the news and all sorts of stuff like that. And then, of course, food. That's excessive food intake and all these different things. And then prayas, endeavors, which endeavoring for things that are opposed to bhakti. Then prajalpa, speaking useless talks. Niyama agraha and niyama agraha. That means agraha, not accepting rules that you ought to follow. And then niyama agraha, being too enthusiastic about, like overzealous about rules that are beyond your qualification, or just things that rules that aren't related to bhakti. And then jana shanga means to associate with jana, ordinary people, mundane people. And then lolyam, greed. Greed for any material objects, and also greed to accept the useless opinions of those who are not devotees. Like, worthless opinions on spiritual topics. Okay. I wonder why it doesn't have utsaha nishchaya dharyat. Anyways, then he goes straight to the 4th verse, which describes the 6 kinds of association that nourish bhakti. So, shad vidam. These are the 6 types. These are the 6 things that are priti lakshanam, that indicate lakshana, that are characteristics of priti, of love, between devotees. What is that? Dadati, giving to devotees, giving them gifts or anything that they need, any items that they require, just always wanting to give to the Vaishnavas. And then pratigrihnati, when they give something to us, we honor it. We accept what they give. And then guhyam akyati, those confidential matters that regarding our spiritual life, regarding struggles that we have, and having that much confidence in that devotee that you can reveal whatever's in your heart, any struggles, anything, any realizations that you have, anything regarding one's bhajan or one's self, because also the anarthas are related to our bhajan. We need to remove these anarthas, and we reveal that, oh, I have this. Yeah, so guyam akyati, and then prichati, inquiring from that person, asking questions, and also inquiring about how their bhajan is and like that. Then bhunkte, so then that means eating their remnants, and bhojayate, and feeding them. These are the 6 types of loving exchanges between devotees. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that by associating with sadhus, bhakti vriddhi hoy, bhakti is increased. But by being in the bad company of non-devotees, bhakti is diminished. So we want to engage in these 6 loving exchanges only with devotees, not with anybody else. And now, here's another don't verse. It's giving this verse from Chaitanya Chandradoy Natak. Mahaprabhu prohibited one from even seeing a sense enjoyer or a woman. Sandarshanam. Not even glancing at a visha. So, Niskinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajanon Mukasya Parang Parang Jigamishwar Bhavasagarasya. So of the renounced soul who is Bhagavad Bhajan Unmukh, they are unmukh, they are focused, they are directed their attention towards Bhagavad Bhajan, towards Bhajan of Bhagavan. And Jigamiswar, and they are desirous of crossing over to the other side, Parang Param, crossing over to the other side of this Bhava Sagarasya, of this ocean of material existence, of Bhava, of the material existence. So for those people, Sandarshanam, even the very sight of Vishayis, of sense enjoyers, and Yoshitam, and the opposite sex. Yoshitam literally means women, but it implies the opposite sex. So for women, men. Then ha hanta hanta vishabhakshanatopya sadhu. Oh, alas, alas. Ha hanta hanta, alas, alas. Seeing these sense enjoyers and women are the opposite sex is even more asadu, even more dangerous and harmful, and the opposite of sadhu, of good. it's detrimental. It's more detrimental than visha bhakshana. That means it's more detrimental than drinking vish, poison. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in Bengali, those niskinchan people, those penniless, renounced people who are bhajan mukh, jajan, those people who are bhajan unmukh, they're, bhava sindhu utirna hoite jarman, whose minds are crossed over from the ocean of material existence. For them, Vishai Milan, meeting with sense enjoyers, Ar and Yoshit Sammilane, and in intimately meeting with the opposite sex, Vishapanapeksha tar viruddha ghatan. This creates a more averse virud, a more averse situation tar for them than vishapanapeksha. Apeksha means than drinking, pana, than drinking vish, poison. Better to drink poison than to intimately associate with women or the opposite sex, or to make connections with materialists, or sense enjoyers, vishais. This is for the niskinchana people, for those who are trying to renounce everything and become focused on their bhajan. And now I think that's where we read up to in our last reading. So now we come to this very famous verse from Upadeshamrita, a very important verse. It is forbidden to judge a transcendental Vaishnav from a material viewpoint. It says Upadeshamrita 6. Sorry, I just like to make it. That's better. Okay. So, Drishtai Swabhava Janatar Vapushascha Doshai Na Prakritattvamiha Bhakta Janasya Pashyet Gangam Bhasam Na Khalu Buddha Pankair Brahma Dravatvam Apagachati Niradharmai. I've never tried to explain this verse before, and I didn't look at it carefully. And so let's see. I won't know how to explain it properly though, but anyways. Okay, I'm just trying this out. So na pashyet, do not see prakritatvam, with material drishta, with material vision. The swabhav, the faults, the dosha, the faults that arise, janita, that arise from the swabhav, the nature, and the faults that arise from the vapu, from the form of devotees, bhakta janasya, of the devotees. Just like Gangam Ambasam, the water of the Ganga, even though it might have budbuddha, it might have bubbles, fena, it might have foam, pankar, it might have mud in it, it might be mixed with bubbles, foam, and mud. The Brahma Dravatvam, the spiritual transcendental nature, the Brahma Dravatva, apagachati, it does not go, but it na apagachati, I'm guessing. I think that na goes with this. Na apagachati, because this Ganga Niradharmai is keeps its transcendental nature. It's Brahma Dravatva. The nature of this water. Nira means water, right? And dharmai. This is the dharma is an impossible word to translate, but this is the anyways. Not the nature. It's nature is, I guess, works, but let's see what it says in the translation. Let's read the translation here now. Okay, devotees who are in this material world should not be considered material. That is, one should not consider them ordinary conditioned souls. Imperfections seen in their natures, such as birth in a low caste, harshness, or lethargy, and imperfections seen in their bodies, such as ugly features, disease, or deformities, they are precisely like the appearance of bubbles, foam, and mud in the Ganga. Despite such apparent pollution of her water, the Ganga retains her nature as liquefied transcendence, or Brahma Dravatva. Similarly, One should not attribute material defects to self-realized Vaishnavas. Okay. Now, what does Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur say? स्वभाव जनित आर वपु दोषे खने अनादर नाही करो शुद्ध भक्त जाने पंकादि जुलिया दोषे कबु गंगा जले चिन्मयत्व लोप नाहे सर्वशास्त्रे बोले. So kshane, at any time, anadar nahi koro, do not disrespect anadar, do not disregard the Shuddha Bhaktas, Shuddha Bhakta Jane, due to that which is arising, Janita, that which is arising from their nature, from their swabhav. They might seem to get really harsh, or due to their natures, and also due to the faults, dosh, due to the faults of their bodies. They might get sick, or they might have ugly features or whatever. But kshane, at any time, anadara nahi koro, do not disrespect them or disregard them because of these seeming defects and these Shuddha Bhaktas. Pankadi Julia doshe kabu ganga jale chinmayatva lop nahe sarva shastre bole. All the scriptures declare that due to the faults, due to the dosh of panka, of mud and so on, within the waters of Ganga Jali. Kobu, that means ever. Kobu nahe, that means never. Kobu nahe. Never does lop, does the chinmayatva, does the transcendence of those waters lop, are hidden. They're never, or they never disappear. They're always there, despite the external, things like that. So a prakrit bhaktajan pap nahi kore. A transcendental devotee, a prakrit bhaktajan pap nahi kore. They don't engage in any sinful activities. And avashishta pap, that those remaining sinful, like those remaining pap, jai kichuden pore. It goes away just after a few days. So there might be some leftover remnants of pap from their previous selves, but that will just go in a few days. So now the Bhajana-rahasya vritti is very similar to the Apichet Sudara Charo verse, right? Let's read the Bhajana-rahasya vritti now by Srila Gurudev. Okay, so he says, the instruction of this text is that it is improper to consider pure devotees to be material or to see material defects in them. They may have defects in their bodies or natures, but it is impossible for pure devotees to fall into bad association or commit nam aparad. This is referring to pure devotees, right? So the water of the Ganga is considered to be pure, despite the appearance of bubbles, foam, mud, etc. For its nature as liquefied transcendence is never lost. Similarly, self-realized Vaishnavas are not contaminated by the birth of the material body, nor by its deterioration. Therefore, one who is intent on performing bhajan should never disrespect a pure Vaishnav. Sorry, I spaced out when I read that. Okay, I read that right. Okay, therefore, one who is intent on performing bhajan should never disrespect a pure Vaishnav, even if these defects are apparent in him. The remaining imperfections of a Vaishnav are quickly removed, and if someone even looks for them, he becomes an offender. What time is it? Clock's not showing for some reason. I think it's like 10 minutes left. Do you want to see the song that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote on this? It's very beautiful. It's a very important song, I think. Whenever I find myself thinking bad about a devotee, or I feel like I've made aparad to an advanced devotee, this is the song that I always take shelter of. So I think it's like, it's a very important song. Nira dharmagata janavashalile panka pena drishtahoy tatapi kokona bravadrama dharma she shalila nacharoy. Where is it? Okay. Here it is. Nira dharmagata. So, oh Hari. Oops. 1 second, let me just fix this. Oh Hari. Okay, so here's a simple translation of that verse. Do not take a mundane view of physical abnormalities or character flaws apparent in pure devotees in this world, for it is like condemning the Ganga for its bubbles, foam, and mud, when our liquid divinity is actually never lost. So, oh Hari, Hari He, oh Hari. Mud and foam may be observed in the waters of Jahnavi, of the Ganga, who possesses an aqueous nature. But the nature of liquefied transcendence never leaves those waters. Similarly, the body of a Vaishnav Sharir, aprakrita sada, it is always transcendental. Sada means always, aprakrita, it's always transcendental. From any perspective, his nature and body, his swabhav and vapu, is never mundane. Kabu nahi jada. As such, tatapi, as such, Jay Ninde, that person who criticizes him, pore, that person falls into the terrible pit, visham, this frightful pit of adharma. She aparade, for that offense, jamer jatana pai jiva avirata. One receives jatana, suffering from yama, from Yamaraj. Pai. He receives that jiva avirata, perpetually. Something that I learned about that was kind of disturbing. um, there are some jivas. This is the opinion of Madhvacharya and also Rupa Goswami and Baladeva Jibhushan, right? About there's. I'll have to look into this a bit more later, but all three of them, Madhvacharya, Rupa Goswami, Baladeva Jibhushan, maybe Sanatana Goswami also, I can't remember, but they mention how there is a hell where jivas are just perpetually there for eternity. There's no becoming liberated from that. And that doesn't make sense to me at all. Like that goes against everything that I thought I've ever understood. But like it sounds kind of like Christian, like eternal hell. But I don't know that Madhvacharya, he took it very literal in Bhagavad Gita when it says, what is that verse? Anyhow, yeah. I can show you the source, like where it says that, and that's something I still haven't reconciled. But yeah, anyways. But yeah, for that offense, the soul perpetually receives suffering from Yamaraj. Hey Nandanandana, oh Nandanandana, she aparade jeno nahi hoy hata. May I not ever be destroyed. Hata means be destroyed by she aparad, by that offense. Tomar Vaishnav, your Vaishnavs, Vaibhav Tomar, are your glory. They're your Vaibhav. Amare Karuna Doya. May they be merciful to me. Tabe, then, Morgati, my destination, my journey, Habe Tava Prati will lead to you, towards you. Pabo Tava Pada Chaya. And I will attain, Pabo, I will attain Tava, your Pada Chaya, your feet shade. I'll attain the shade of your lotus feet. chaya. I really love these lines here though. Tomara Vaishnava, your Vaishnavas are your Vaibhav. May they be merciful to me. Amare karuna daya. Tabe mor gati, then my journey, habe tava prati, will lead towards you. Pavo tava pada chaya, and I will attain the shade of your lotus feet. This is, yeah. So this is really, anytime anybody's ever felt like they've committed an offense to a great Vaishnav, this is the song that they can take shelter of. All right, what time is it? Okay, still have 5 minutes left. Let's look at the next verse. Now, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami states in Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka, verse 7, that one should give up the desire for prestige and the wickedness of deceit and hypocrisy. Pratishta shadrishta shvapacharamani me hridi natit kathang sadhu prema sprishati suchiretan anumana sada tvang sevasva prabhudaita samantamatulam yatha tang nishkashya Tvaritam ihatang veshayatisa. God, I'm really not good at explaining verses when I haven't looked at it beforehand. But it's always a good practice. So anyways, this is going to be, so pratishdasha drishta, the contemptible desire. Drishta, I think, means contemptible. I'm guessing here right now. We'll see how right I am later. But drishta, the contemptible desire, asha, for pratishta, for recognition, is a shwapach ramani, is a shwapach, is a dog-eating woman who hridi natet. Me means my, hridi, heart, natet. So yeah, if she dances, natet means she dances within me hridi, within my heart. If she does that, I think natet means, yeah, if she dances within my heart, this dog-eating woman of the desire for recognition, then katang, then how? How will sadhu prem, this completely pure sadhu prem, sprishati, how will it touch? Shuchi. Shuchi means pure, right? Etan, this pure heart, how will it touch this pure heart, I'm guessing? Nanu is like, makes it an emphasis. Oh, mind. Indeed. Nanu is like, yeah, indeed, an emphasis word. How will that happen? Katham? Sada, always. Tvang sevasya prabhudaita samantam atulam. Always engage in service. Oh, minds, you, tvam means you, should always, by engaging in the service of the Prabhus, Prabhudaita samantam, those generals. Samantulam means the generals who are very daita, who are very dear to Prabhu, to the Lord. And they are atulam, they are incomparable. So the incomparable commanders of the army who are very dear to the Lord, by serving them, sevasva, then yata. By doing that, tang refers to her, to that pratishdasha. Nishkashya, they will throw out. Nishkashya means they'll throw out tvaritam immediately. Ihatang veshayatisa. Veshayati refers to that. Vesha also means prostitute, right? I don't know. Let's read the translation now. Let's see how I did. Why does deceit not go away even after one has given up all material sense enjoyment? This verse has been composed in order to remove this doubt. So, O mind, tell me, how can pure divine love, okay, so this suchi means pure sadhu prem, this pure sadhu prem, how can it, what does it say? How can pure divine love, sprishati, it says touch in the Sanskrit, but how can it appear in my heart? You, O mind, are my heart. So how can it appear in my heart as long as the shameless, outcast woman, shwapach means dog eating, right? Means outcast woman of the desire for prestige, this pratishdasha, is audaciously dancing there. Therefore, without delay, tvarita, without delay, remember and serve. It says sevasva. Remember and serve the immeasurably, that's atulam, the immeasurably powerful commanders. They're the samantam, the powerful commanders of Sri Krishna's army. They who are very dear to the Supreme Lord, the Prabhu Daita, samantam, atulam. They will quickly, tvaritam, okay, that means they'll very quickly, tvaritam, they'll very quickly, chase away this outcast woman and initiate the flow of pure Vraj Prem in my heart. So now we'll read the Bhajana-rahasya vritti, and then I think that will be our reading for today. So the desire, the asha for prestige, for pratishta, is called pratishdasha. Although all other anarthas may be dispelled, the desire for pratishta is not easily removed. Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj says it lives in our veins. It's like it's flowing in our veins. It's like so much a part of us. And as we see in Madhurya Kadambini, that this desire for pratishta is the very last anartha to leave. Even at the stage of, was it at the stage of bhav or was it the stage of asakti? I don't know, but there's no more anarthas that are remaining. Like if you get a bottle with something in it, some oil or something, and you completely remove all the oil, the smell will still be there. So even though there's no more oil, there's no more anarthas left, but the smell will still be there. What is that last smell that's still there? Is the desire for pratishta. It's the last thing to leave us before we reach prem. And we don't even realize it's there sometimes. It's like very deceptive. So although all anarthas may be dispelled, the desire for pratishta is not easily removed. The desire for pratishta is the root of all anarthas. All kinds of deceit and hypocrisy arise from it and are gradually nourished by it. The swanishta sadhak, and this term is further explained in the commentary to 22. Okay, so we'll get there. Anyways, but the swanishta sadhak is someone who is virtuous, benevolent, sinless, a renounced devotee of the Lord, a learned scholar, and so on. Therefore, as long as a desire for prestige remains in the heart, one is unable to drive away deceit. And until one becomes free from deceit, one cannot obtain immaculate divine love. In other words, if deceit remains, one does not attain prem for Sri Krishna, which is endowed with a sense of great possessiveness, great mamata, and which makes the heart melt. So what do we do in that condition? What do we do if we have this seemingly impossible desire for prestige to get rid of, which is blocking us from having any sense of great possessiveness and making our heart melt? What do? Service to pure Vaishnavas is the only means to dispel anarthas like wickedness, deceit, and hypocrisy. The rays of the Ladini Shakti are to be seen in the hearts of pure Vaishnavas. These rays are transmitted into the heart of a faithful sadhak, where they dispel these anarthas and manifest the Vraj Prem. Always serve the immeasurably merciful and powerful commanders of Sri Nandanandan's army, his beloved devotees. The embrace of pure Vaishnavas, the dust from their lotus feet, the remnants of their prasad, the water that has washed their feet, their instructions, and so forth, are all fully competent to transmit Hladini Shakti into the heart. This is confirmed in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila 16 verses 60 to 61. Bhakta pada dhuli ar, bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avashesh, tin mahabal, e tin seva hoite, Krishna prema hoy, puna puna sarva shastre, pukariya koi. Doesn't give a translation. Anyways, the bhakta pada dhuli, the dust of the bhakta, of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas, of the bhaktas, are and bhakta parajal, the foot water of the bhaktas, and bhakta bhukta avashesh, the remnants left from the food of Vaishnavas, from their eating. Eitin, these three, mahabal, have great power and potency. Eitin seva hoite, from serving or from partaking of these three. In Bengali, seva can either mean service, but it also means consuming or to take. Like if somebody asks you in Bengali, they say seva hoyeche. That means have you eaten? So seva means to eat actually also. So so by partaking of these three, then Krishna Prem hoy, then Krishna Prem is manifested. Krishna Prem happens. And puna puna sarva shastra pukariya koi. All scriptures, again and again, puna puna, all the scriptures, sarva shastra pukariya koi, they loudly declare this. Okay, so tomorrow we will read Manashiksha verse 6. Are cheta prodyat kapata kutinati. So now we read about how to get rid of this pratishdasha through serving the immeasurably powerful commanders of the army of Krishna who are very dear to him. And so seva means by serving them and also by consuming these three items from them. And then the next is Manashiksha 6, which is how to get rid of this kapata. This kapatata means duplicity, and this kutinati, and this deceitfulness, which is like donkey urine, which is burning me. Why are you bathing in the burning hot donkey urine of deceit and hypocrisy when you could be bathing in the nectar ocean of love for Radha Govinda or Gandharva Giridhara, Prema Vilasat, their love for each other? You could be bathing in that, but instead you're burning yourself and you're burning me in this scorching hot urine of the donkey. such an extreme example, huh? And then so tomorrow we will read that verse, and we'll also go through the 10 offenses, the 10 namaparads to the holy name. My clock is not working on my computer, so I actually have oh, I see it here. Oh my God, it's 8:08. All right, let's stop. Sorry, my clock is not working on my computer right now, so I didn't even notice the time. But I see it here now. Okay. Yeah. Today I'm not going to do the Dvitīya-yāma-sādhana just because it's late, but we will start doing that from tomorrow onwards. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Param Gurudev Ki Jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Swapashad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopigan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai, Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Abhinna Vrindavan Shri Navadip Dham ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jai Shri Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Bhajana-rahasya ki jai, Jai Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Gosai Pad ki jai, Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Govinda Lilamrita ki jai, Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Jai Shri Śikṣāṣṭaka ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. The Atula, what is it? Samantam, the Atula Samantam, the Prabhu Daita, the incomparable commanders of the army of Shri Krishna, who are very dear to him. Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat pranams, Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Sarveshwari Mataji, Champak Mataji, and let's see who else is there on YouTube and Facebook. Vidyalala Sadidi. Oh, Rai Ramananda Prabhu, Haribo. Yes, Chaitanya Bhagavat was completed a long time ago. Yeah. And all other devotees, I'm guessing Indira Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji. I don't know who else is there. Anyways, Dandavat pranams to all of you. And pranams to all devotees watching in the future, like Shachi Devi, Revati Didi, Krishna Rose, Manjari Didi, Jai Dev Prabhu, everybody else, Dandavat pranams. See you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before I end the stream?